I never thought I'd try online dating. But after my divorce, the loneliness became unbearable. So, one dreary Friday night, I downloaded Tinder and created a profile. At first, it was a disaster. Creeps, weirdos, and people looking for hookups filled my inbox. I was about to delete the app when I matched with Alex. Tall, dark, and handsome, with a charming smile and kind eyes. His bio mentioned a love of horror movies and true crime podcasts. Instant connection. We chatted for hours, our conversations flowing effortlessly. After a week, Alex suggested we meet. I hesitated, but something about him put me at ease. We agreed to dinner at a trendy new restaurant downtown. The night of our date arrived. I spent hours getting ready, butterflies in my stomach. As I applied my lipstick, I caught my reflection smiling back at me. For the first time in years, I felt hopeful. I arrived at the restaurant early, claiming a cozy booth in the back. As I waited, I couldn't shake a growing sense of unease. The other diners seemed to be watching me, their gazes lingering a bit too long. Just as I was about to text Alex, he appeared. He was even more attractive in person, his presence commanding the room. As he slid into the booth across from me, I felt my anxiety melt away. "You look lovely," he said, his voice deep and smooth. The conversation flowed as easily as it had online. We laughed, shared stories, and found we had even more in common than we'd realized. By the time our entrees arrived, I was smitten. As we ate, Alex regaled me with tales from his work as a private investigator. His eyes gleamed as he described solving cold cases and tracking down missing persons. "It's fascinating how people can just disappear," he mused. "How someone can vanish without a trace, and no one even notices they're gone." A chill ran down my spine, but I brushed it off. This was my area of interest too, after all. After dinner, Alex suggested a walk by the river. The night was cool and clear, the moon casting a silvery glow on the water. It was romantic, but that nagging sense of unease returned. We stopped at a secluded spot, leaning against the railing. Alex turned to me, his expression suddenly serious. "I have a confession to make," he said softly. My heart raced. Was he married? A criminal? My mind spun with possibilities. "I haven't been entirely truthful with you," he continued. "I'm not really a private investigator." I stepped back, ready to run, but he caught my wrist. His grip was like iron. "I'm more of a collector," Alex said, his charming smile twisting into something sinister. "And you're going to be my newest addition." Before I could scream, he pressed a cloth over my mouth and nose. The world went dark. I awoke in a dimly lit room, my head pounding. As my eyes adjusted, I realized with horror that I was surrounded by glass cases. And in each case was a person, perfectly preserved, eyes wide with terror. I awoke in a dimly lit room, my head pounding. As my eyes adjusted, I realized with horror that I was surrounded by glass cases. And in each case was a person, perfectly preserved, eyes wide with terror. Alex's collection. I tried to move, but found myself already posed inside a case of my own, unable to so much as blink. Alex's face appeared before me, grinning widely. "Welcome to the family," he whispered. "You're going to be here for a very long time." As the paralytic took full effect, my mind screamed in silent terror. I realized this was my fate, to be a living doll, forever on display, in this madman's twisted museum. Days passed. Or maybe weeks. Time lost all meaning in my glass prison. I could only watch as Alex brought in more victims, all lured by his online charm. Then one day, everything changed. A new woman entered the room, but she wasn't paralyzed like the rest of us. She moved with purpose, examining each case carefully. When she reached mine, I saw my own face staring back at me. "Found you," my doppelganger said with a smirk. She turned to Alex, who stood in the doorway. "Good work, honey. This is the last one we needed." Alex beamed with pride. "Anything for you, my love." As they shared a passionate kiss, the horrible truth dawned on me. This woman, this version of me, was the real collector. Alex was just another pawn in her sick game. "Time to wake up, sweetie," my twin said, pressing her hand against the glass. "We've got work to do." In that moment, as feeling returned to my body and the glass cage opened, I realized the true horror wasn't being a victim. It was discovering that, in some twisted reality, I was the monster all along.